What's going on, guys? It's your boy Nate ENT here, man. I'm back with another video. You guys see the title, What If Episode 8 Ultron, Top 10 Easter Eggs and Ending Explained it. Now, if you guys haven't seen What If, I highly expect you guys to check this out, man. And because it's a real good series. Marvel is honestly headed in the right direction with this, because honestly, it's honestly stuff that they can tell in live action movies, like live action zombies, not just any live action zombie, like Marvel live action zombie. I would love to see on the big screen. I love to see all these chapters on live action. Even if they have to make it a live action series, and I would be happy with that. But anyway, let's get to the video, man.
Marvel What If Episode 8 video, RIP the Multiverse, because Ultron has all 6 Infinity Stones. So there's a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references to a bunch of things. Also explain what's going on with the Watcher, because he is crazy powerful. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos, and we're going to get Hawkeye episodes after What If. That'll be like the next big Marvel Disney Plus series, and I will be doing videos for that too. But careful for spoilers from the episode if you have not seen it yet. Just starting at the beginning and work our way.
Guys, mind you, I'm like a few days late to this episode, bro. Like literally before I came on here making a reaction, I literally just finished it. And I know it's probably a new episode that's coming on tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna check that one out too, obviously. I think it's a new episode dropping tomorrow, is it? Let me see real quick. Oh yeah, it is another episode dropping tomorrow. I will check that out.
Way through WTF moments and Easter eggs as we go along. Starting with the title of the episode, What If Ultron Won? So not only was the episode based on an alternate version of Avengers Age of Ultron, the Marvel movie, but it was also based on the Age of Ultron comic book storyline, and I would argue is actually more accurate to the comic book than the movie was. But one of the big differences in the way they opened the episode was the Watcher actually starts out being super bummed out, way more than usual. He laments tragic endings like, oh, this is sad, and then moves on to the next universe in the next episode, or the next comic book story if we're talking about the What If comics. But this time in the episode, he literally says the phrase, "This one breaks my heart." Ultron in the episode was voiced by Ross Marquand, who was the voice of Red Skull in Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. I didn't know it was him until I actually checked the credits. Jeremy Renner was back as Hawkeye, and all the other people were played by the same people who have been playing them throughout the whole series. Like some of the Marvel movie actors came back, like Benedict Cumberbatch was playing Doctor Strange Supreme at the end of the episode. But the actual plot picks up just at the end of the events of Avengers Age of Ultron in a universe where Ultron beat the Avengers and gained all 6 Infinity Stones. So they're not in Sokovia when this is happening. This is meant to be a post-apocalyptic Moscow, Russia, and even though it's snowing here when this is happening, it's kind of meant to be a nuclear winter because Ultron hacked all the nuclear warheads of every nation and fired them, using them to destroy humans instead of using the Sokovia plot with the giant vibranium missile. It's a very Black Widow Hawkeye heavy episode. We start with this version of Black Widow being chased down by Ultron's robots, and she's working with Hawkeye. Jeremy Renner, like I said, came back to play the character. You notice he has a metal arm, assuming that he lost it at some point earlier in their fight against Ultron after all the nukes went off. He's got the Ronin haircut, but not the full Ronin costume, and he also has a legit cloak of invisibility. Now, it's not Doctor Strange's magic, like one of those kinds of cloaks, it's just advanced technology. Then as he's done in all the episodes, the Watcher manifests above them, watching and starts narrating the history of this universe and what led up to the big Nexus event and what wound up changing everything.
Bro, Marvel, honestly, you guys can make so much live action movies or series. It doesn't even make any sense. Like, you guys can tell so much stories about, like, alternate universes and stuff like that. You know, I honestly hope that, like, this show is honestly making a success to the point where Marvel is honestly thinking about making live action of some of these episodes that I would love to see. I would really love to see on the big screen. Like, honestly, bro, like, Why? Okay, Marvel. Why did you guys bring back Tony Stark 4 times and he managed to die 4 times in this series? It's like I think Tony's death has a point to all of this, in my opinion. Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Starting with Iron Man accidentally creating Ultron using the Mind Stone, just like he did during Avengers Age of Ultron. The big Nexus event in this reality was the Avengers in this universe never stole Vision's body from Ultron before he could finish uploading his consciousness to it. So after he finishes putting himself in the new vibranium body, he uses the power of the Mind Stone and his extra upgraded tech powers to annihilate the planet. This is where we get to the Age of Ultron comic book plot. That's basically what happened in Age of Ultron. Ultron winds up taking over the whole planet. All the Vision stuff that was part of that was just from the movie. In the comics, instead of vibranium, he winds up using adamantium to upgrade his body. Maybe during Marvel Phase 5, that's when we'll start hearing about adamantium inside the MCU. Then this whole scene here is just meant to be Tony Stark's vision from the beginning of Avengers Age of Ultron. The vision that he was given by Scarlet Witch of all the Avengers' deaths. Now, obviously, they kind of paid that off in the MCU movies during Avengers Infinity War when he winds up killing most of the Avengers. This version is just meant to be another version of that reference. The camera pans over all their dead bodies. Captain America, Thor, even the Hulk. He saves Iron Man for last. There's a brief cameo scene from Thunderbolt Ross, who seems like he's in the Pentagon while they watch all the nukes go off all over the world, and explaining that Hawkeye and Black Widow survived because they were at high altitude when all the nukes went off. Hawkeye mentions his wife Laura Barton. His children would have also been killed too. I know everybody's wondering where his wife is during the Hawkeye trailer. Don't worry, we'll talk about that when we get the next big Hawkeye trailer. Live action MCU Laura Barton hasn't gone anywhere yet. Then the Watcher literally mentions Age of Ultron, another reference to the movie and to the classic comic book story, where Ultron does wind up conquering the world. And then we find out the crazy way he winds up getting all 6 Infinity Stones. So apparently in this universe, either there was a big time jump during that montage that we just saw, or this version of Thanos just winds up coming to Earth to steal the Mind Stone a little bit sooner. But this is meant to be a reference to Avengers Infinity War with the scene of him showing up to kill Vision, ripping the Mind Stone out of his forehead. Only in this reality, the second he steps out of the Space Stone portal, Ultron notices and analyzes the Infinity Gauntlet and slices him in half. And conveniently, Thanos already had all the other 5 Infinity Stones. So we were all wondering how Ultron got the Soul Stone after Episode 7 ending.
Bro, this episode was honestly crazy. Like, Ultron literally destroyed the entire universe. Guys, you know what I don't understand is who wakes up one morning and say, I want to destroy the entire universe. And then when a villain destroys the universe, he's alone. And he's alone for half of eternity. Like, guys, do you ever just figure that out? Like, why would somebody just want to destroy the entire universe if they're just going to be alone half of eternity? I don't get it, bro, but hey, man, it's all parts of Marvel, man.
Turns out he didn't need to do anything. No sacrifice needed. And I think this is actually accurate to the way they explain it in the MCU movies, because the whole thing about sacrificing a soul for a soul seems like it was only meant to apply to Vormir. Like only one person needs to do that, then anybody after that can use the Soul Stone without sacrificing another soul for it. But he wields all 6 Infinity Stones, embedding them in his chest, so he doesn't need the gauntlet like a regular organic life form. His body is just strong enough because it's made out of vibranium. And when he becomes a living Infinity Gauntlet, he gains cosmic awareness on par with the Watcher. So it's like he's watching the entire universe all at the same time. He uses the Reality Stone to raise his army back up and then create a spaceship to collect them, just to basically carry them together and portal them around the universe as he conquers everything. Starting with Asgard, where he goes full Ragnarok. And this scene is literally meant to parallel the destruction of Asgard when Surtur destroyed it in Thor Ragnarok. His phrase, peace in our time, is also an Iron Man quote. Next is the Sovereign Race from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and conveniently, bending over backwards, the Guardians just happen to be here when he attacks. They wanted to feature a lot of the other Marvel characters and groups as he went around the universe, so I think they just kind of combined a lot of these scenes. Like, okay, we'll just say the Guardians just happen to be here at the same time. For those of you asking, though, how come Adam Warlock didn't help out here? Because he would be super powerful, not quite as powerful as Ultron with all 6 Infinity Stones, but still enough to hold him back a little bit longer. I think the idea is they probably weren't allowed to use Adam Warlock in this episode because James Gunn is saving him for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like, they're not going to let them debut a huge character like that on the TV show when they're saving him for a movie.
That makes
Then he
sense.
visits Sakaar, so R.I.P. Korg and the Grand Master. Valkyrie was also probably still here at this time. And then he goes to Ego the Living Planet, who is a Celestial with crazy cosmic powers, so he should have been able to put up a bigger fight against Ultron's army. The Infinity Gauntlet would be too powerful for Ego to stop, but still. Too bad the episode was so short and they had to speedrun this, because it would have been really cool to see the other Celestials versus Ultron too. Then he goes to Xandar, kills the Nova Corps, destroys that planet, and because he's in Kree-Skrull space, Captain Marvel shows up to fight him, but even though her big thing is soaking energy damage, she isn't powerful enough.
Honestly, guys, bro, I just have to come out and say this. I'm not really a Captain Marvel fan. Like, you know, her story arc to me is just not as entertaining. Like, it's just dry, like, you know? It's like, you know, no disrespect to all the Captain Marvel fans out there, but at the same time, her story arc is just kind of dry. Like, it's just dry. It's not that interesting. You know, she's a great character. You know, I'm not saying that she's a bad character. She is a great character in this universe because she shows up when the time is right. We obviously know that. She's really powerful. Dude, she literally went toe to toe with a fucking Titan. Like, bro, she's fucking powerful. I'm not saying that she's not, but it's just, I'm not really a Captain Marvel fan like that. But, you know, she's a great character.
Enough to soak all of the energy damage from the Infinity Gauntlet. Of course, because all her references are stuck in the 80s and 90s, she makes a Terminator reference calling Ultron Skynet and talking about killer robot movies, but apparently she never saw Terminator 2 because she quips that the killer robot movie does not need a sequel, as if she doesn't know that Terminator 2 exists. As you probably guessed, the reason why she doesn't know that Terminator...
Hey, shout out to Blockbuster, man. Who remembers Blockbuster, man? Man, these was the good days. Shout out to Blockbuster, bro. Old times, man.
Terminator 2 exists is because she left planet Earth in 1989 and she was in outer space. She didn't come back to Earth and learn about what had happened till 1995. So she would have basically skipped over and missed Terminator 2. The Captain Marvel vs. Ultron fight is pretty short. They do give her a bit of a fight scene. She punches him down to the planet's core, but he's still too powerful because he has all 6 Infinity Stones. It winds up giving off an energy burst so big that it destroys all the planets in the system. So R.I.P. Captain Marvel. And this isn't even the biggest kill that he makes. He literally winds up eating a galaxy later in the episode, so take that, Galactus. Don't worry, I'll talk about that too. That was a very Galactus-level boss move. But then he has this long Dark Night of the Soul kind of moment where he realizes that he no longer has a purpose because he has brought peace to the universe. You'd think his brain would extrapolate the existence of the multiverse before the big Watcher twist, but obviously they wanted to have that big Watcher versus Ultron scene, so that's why they did it the way they did in the episode. And the way Ultron learns about the Watcher and the existence of the multiverse is very similar to the way that Doctor Strange Supreme learned about the existence of the Watcher. Like, he became so powerful in his episode that he sensed the Watcher watching him. Like, who are you? Who's out there? So in that same way, as the Watcher is narrating events, Ultron kind of turns around like, hey, wait a minute, who's talking to me? What's going on? And sets off to find a way into the Watcher's extra-dimensional stronghold. So in the comics, the Watcher literally has a secret base on the moon where he watches everything from. On the What If series, this MCU version of Uatu is basically inside what you could consider an extra-dimensional space. It's kind of like a nexus space that's connected to every universe of the multiverse. Like, all the panes of glass here show him different universes that he peeps. So later when Ultron bursts through and they start punching each other through different universes, it's meant to pay off the intro scene where they show the swirling panes all breaking different realities, all swirling into the background. But as he narrates later, the last hope for the multiverse is actually Arnim Zola, if you could believe it, which seems like a crazy twist, but I guess it makes sense per the logic of the episode, because in this reality, Vision was never created, otherwise they would have just used Vision for this. So Hawkeye and Black Widow go into the KGB archives in Russia. Hawkeye makes a Raiders of the Lost Ark reference to the big U.S. government secret warehouse from the movie. Black Widow pulls out Red Guardian's shield. It has the red star of Russia on it, meant to be a mirror for Captain America's shield with the American star on, because Red Guardian was Russia's version of Captain America, which he referenced every chance that he got during the Black Widow movie. The Watcher almost breaking his oath to help Clint find the Arnim Zola file is meant to foreshadow him putting the Multiverse Avengers team together with Dark Doctor Strange at the end of the episode. Like, okay, fine, you win. I see now. Please help me save the multiverse. Hawkeye makes a Star Wars reference. The Death Star plans are not in the main computer. That's right out of the beginning of A New Hope.
The Death Star plans are not in the main computer.
And in this reality, the way they explain this alternate version of Arnim Zola, he wound up uploading himself to the computer at Camp Lehigh, like we saw during the Winter Soldier movie, but there was also a copy of his consciousness backed up inside the Hydra Winter Soldier base in Siberia. Black Widow said the Camp Lehigh computers were already destroyed per the events of Captain America Winter Soldier because that happened before Age of Ultron. While they're busy traveling there, Ultron finally figures out how to break into the Watcher's extra-dimensional space, and they fight it out before he manages to kick him out briefly. Then this will make a lot of you Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans happy, because when they boot Arnim Zola up, the first thing he says is making an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reference. Hello, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We learn Hawkeye's middle name is Francis after his Mima. It's a family name. Maybe they'll joke about that during the Hawkeye series. Black Widow trolls Ultron by dialing the Avengers Tower, and even though Ultron is not inside this universe, as they explain later in the episode, it's Ultron's hive consciousness that's answering it. So technically it is Ultron who's answering the phone at the Avengers Tower. And apparently it is pizza time in this Hydra base.
Pizza time.
They use one of Hawkeye's trick arrows to upload Arnim Zola into the Ultron bot, but because it's a hive mind and they need to be in the same dimension or the same reality as Ultron, and he's in the Watcher's extra-dimensional space, that's obviously a big twist they're saving for the finale. When Arnim Zola references other genocidal maniacs that he's had to contend with, he's referencing both Hitler and Red Skull because of World War II. Then Hawkeye sacrificing himself to take out the robots is meant to be a twist on Avengers Endgame when it was Black Widow sacrificing herself. Then setting up more of the Multiverse Avengers crossover, they kind of explain the twist about how they have to travel into the same universe as Ultron. Even though we don't see them do that during this episode, obviously because the Watcher's going to Dark Doctor Strange, they're going to go around to different realities collecting all the heroes from the multiverse, all the big main characters from each of the different episodes. But then we get our big Watcher versus Ultron fight. It's basically the entire last third of the episode. A lot of you also noticed the way they animated the Watcher's power. So when he's using his cosmic energy, they actually animate it using the Kirby Crackle. The Kirby Crackle is what that bubbling energy is. It's the way that Jack Kirby would animate cosmic energy. They also use that during Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's just meant to represent cosmic power. And as you can see, the Watcher is super OP, like he can withstand and soak a lot of damage from the full Infinity Gauntlet. They start punching each other through a bunch of different universes as if they're shattering through glass windows, just like the intro scene. Notice the Watcher's energy shield that he uses here, it's not magic that he's using, it's cosmic power, just a little bit different, but the same basic effect as Doctor Strange's shields. It's just that the Watcher is way more powerful than Doctor Strange. Then when he manifests his full armor, that's right out of the comics. All the Watchers dress similarly, but they all have slightly different variations.
Bro, that's why I say, man, the Fantastic Four needs to have a role in these multiverses. Like, why isn't the Fantastic Four mentioned in none of these multiverses? Like, come on, man. Like, bro, Marvel, we need a Fantastic Four, bro. We don't need another Fox Fantastic Four. Fox sucks when it comes to directing Fantastic Four movies. We need Marvel to direct a Fantastic Four movie. Like, why? Like, I don't understand. Why isn't none of these Fantastic Four characters mentioned in none of these universes?
Their armor and the clothes that they wear. One small detail, or maybe not so small detail, that I love about their fight here too, is when the Watcher uses his giant head to headbutt Ultron. Like, of course you would use your giant head if it was super strong. Then I won't name every single reality that they travel to here, just the really crazy ones, but each of these different realities that they travel to are different versions of Earth, because that's where the Watcher was watching when they were fighting each other. And the area is meant to be around the New York City area. They travel to an Earth where there's an advanced Egyptian culture that's taken over the planet. Then the next one, the Earth is covered in volcanoes and flowing lava. Then another one stuck in an ice age. And then there's another one where they've created a Dyson sphere that looks exactly like the ones the dwarves of Nidavellir used to harness the power of the sun for more efficient energy. I'm not totally sure which one this is meant to be, though, with all the floating obelisks. Then we get our big Ultron Galactus level boss move. So he makes himself go supersized, kind of like Galactus, but actually I would take it one step further and say that he's way more powerful than...
Isn't Galactus... Wait, hold on.
This level boss move. So he makes himself go supersized, kind of like Galactus, but actually I would take it one step further and say that he's way more powerful than Galactus in this scene here. Because Galactus only towers over planets, like individual planets, not galaxies.
And bro, this is why the Fantastic Four universe needs to be in Marvel. Why isn't he in Marvel? Why isn't he in universes, bro? It's so, like, we need a Fantastic Four, man. I heard a Fantastic Four is coming like later on in the future. But come on, man. Like, there's so much characters that is not in Marvel that should be in Marvel to be in these multiverses.
Galaxies, and he can only siphon energy from one planet at a time. This is the entire Milky Way galaxy that Ultron destroys in this universe with a single crunch. Then he punches him into a reality where Steve Rogers, Captain America, is being sworn in as U.S. President. Then he punches him into a reality where it seems like Wakandans took over the entire planet, like this is a version of New York City if Wakanda had expanded its borders. Then he punches him to a reality where it seems like Earth never left the Dark Ages, or you could theorize that Ultron also punched him back in time and into an alternate universe at the same time. He punches into an Earth where the Skrulls took over the planet, then he punches them back to the Ice Age reality version of Earth, and the Watcher barely manages to escape while Ultron returns to the Watcher's extra-dimensional base, just using it as a nexus to the entire multiverse, vowing to bring peace, his peace, to the entire multiverse. And if you're kind of confused about how this connects with the timeline of the What If Episode 7 ending scene, like the Watcher scene like he was learning about Ultron for the first time when he stepped out into Party Thor's universe, but in this episode, it seemed like he learns about Ultron for the first time in this universe, and that doesn't really make sense because if Party Thor's universe is the first universe that Ultron went to next, then why would the Watcher be surprised like this? And if he was watching Party Thor from his place inside this base here where Ultron is at the end of the episode, then the timeline between episode 7 and episode 8 is just a little bit wonky. So I think they just messed up the timeline of these scenes a little bit. They said they had to delay the Iron Man Sakaar episode till next season, so that might be why there's a timeline issue between episode 7 and episode 8. But then we kind of get a post-credit scene. I don't know if I call it a traditional post-credit scene, but the Watcher slinks his way back to Doctor Strange Supreme, to recruit him and get his help assembling the Multiverse Avengers team that they're calling the Guardians of the Multiverse. So what if episode 9, the finale next week, will basically be them putting the team together quickly and then stopping Ultron using that Zola AI. They have confirmed What If Season 2, there'll be 9 episodes, and they said they're going to try and release it next year. So we'll talk a little bit about that after I do my What If finale video next week. If you spotted any other Easter eggs in the episode that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. My full Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene will post tomorrow night because the movie is out pretty much everywhere, and my full Easter eggs and breakdown for the movie will probably post on Friday, so make sure you have alerts enabled for my channel so you don't miss that. Everyone click here for my new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer video for all the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Easter eggs, and click here.
Hey guys, man, Marvel has did a great job with this series. The series was honestly a success. If you guys haven't checked out What If yet, I highly advise you guys to really check this out. It's a really good series. It's setting up some big movies and big TV series that's going to be set in the future. So I can't wait for that. But if you guys enjoy my reaction, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, hit the sub button, share, do what you guys do, and I am out of here.